Welcome to Sports Talk 2319, and I am your host, Rashad Phillips. Today, I'm going to bring you guys the art of the jump shot. I'm going to give you guys at home a little bit of a guideline of what it takes to be a great jump shooter. Not a good one, a great one. And you know, I got a special player for you guys today. Let's go! The first rule to being a great jump shooter is the mind frame. You have to possess the mental capability to make shots. Let me dig a little deeper. I personally hate missing shots. When you develop a disdain or dislike of missing shots, that plays into your mental capabilities of doing everything the right way so that feeling won't happen again. I remember as a kid working out with my father, and every time I would miss, it would just make me so upset. And my father would say to me, if you don't like the feeling, then do everything right so you don't have to feel that all the time. Have a disdain for missing shots, have a dislike or a hate for the ball not going in the basket. That's rule number one. Rule number two, hand placement. You must have your hands placed on the basketball properly. Let me demonstrate really quick. I have a ball here. There's threads on this basketball. And what you have to do, your fingers have to always line with these black threads on the basketball. I see too many people shooting the basketball crooked this way. The basketball is not made to be shot this way. It's made for your fingers to get with those black threads. Get your fingers in that and getting the lift on it and flicking your wrist. But as you can see, my fingers and my thumb is in line with those black threads. So when I'm releasing the ball, so it can orbit correctly. If you look at great shooters, if you look at pictures of great shooters, you'll see when they're releasing the ball that the ball is lined up. So I get a lot of people that tells me, I can't do that because there's defenders on me. That's false. Great shooters can line the ball up in a dark alley with a blindfold on. And over time, it becomes natural. This basketball is meant to be shot. It's not meant to be thrown or aimed. I see a lot of people aiming the ball. This is not a football. This is not a baseball. This here is designed to be shot. Remember, hand placement, get your hands in those threads and fire away. Rule number three, footwork. You must possess a proper base in order to make shots at a high rate. There's a misconception on where your power comes from and where it's generated. A lot of people believe that it's your upper body, but I beg to differ. I believe that the power comes from the base and the foundation that you create within your footwork. If you look at a lot of great shooters, they shoot from far away, but a lot has to do with the base that they've created and the footwork that they set.
Cleveland State Thursday.
If they can't, oh my goodness.
How about 26 feet? Yeah! Would you believe it?
This is amazing.
Feet should always be shoulder width apart. It'll help you extend your range and again, increase your volume at a high rate. Footwork. Rule number four, elevation. You have to get off the floor. Every great jump shooter has phenomenal time elevation. Now, I can already hear some people on the other side saying Larry Bird didn't have great elevation, which further explains my theory. The taller you are, the less elevation you have to have. Larry Bird was 6'10". The smaller you are, the greater your elevation has to have. Now you look at guys again like Larry Bird, 6'10", Dirk Nowitzki, 7 feet. Those guys don't need as much elevation, but it's still required to be a great jump shooter. The small players like myself have to get off the floor a little bit.
The bomb from the outside. Wisconsin, Milwaukee can't win.
Come on! Come on!
So timely, elevated shots will also make you a great shooter. We all need a little bit of uplifting.
One seems to be a little bit farther out than the last. Look at this. He's elevating from the hash mark.
See you in the NBA, kid.
Last but not least, rule number 5, vision. Eyes must remain on the target at all times, not allowing anything to distract you from connecting with the basket. Vision. Since I've given you guys the values and the rules to being a great jump shooter, I felt the need to bring you college basketball's most dangerous and lethal jump shooter out of Wofford College, Fletcher McGee. Thanks for joining the show today.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. It's great to be here.
You know, you guys have been on a sort of a winning streak right now. You guys have won 5 games in a row, starting with the Coastal Carolina win. You guys won a big game against Georgia Tech, but more recently, you guys beat North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Kind of run us through the mindset that you guys have been going through for this 5-game stretch.
So we've kind of focused a little bit more on defense. We had a little rough patch against Texas Tech and Asheville, and we all kind of got together and just devoted ourselves to the defensive end, and then kind of being more fluid in our motion, not letting teams really try to jack us up and get us out of our stuff. So we've had a lot of good practices. We had, I think, a week to practice before some of our games, and kind of put it all together in the last few weeks or so. It's been a good run for us.
I've witnessed that. I mean, you guys have been playing really well. I mean, Cam Jackson has really played well for you guys. Just his consistency. Tell me a little bit more about Cam's presence on the court.
Yeah, Cam's unbelievable when we can get him out there on the court. He's a great one-on-one player. Down in the post. He's really hard to guard. He can actually, he's good at dribble handoffs and taking it from the perimeter too. So defensively though, he was absolute beast against North Carolina. I thought those blocks and his presence down there is awesome. So he's been playing really well for us, and that's kind of been one of the main things that's helped us with this win streak.
Yeah, I saw a couple plays. You guys had some 2-man game action going against North Carolina and kind of put them in a pickle a little bit. And you guys made some plays, and I was very impressed with your guard play with Brooks and Murphy. Those guys to me are like your 2-headed monsters. So those guys have been instrumental in a 5-game stretch. You agree?
Yeah, definitely. We had Derek came into the starting lineup I think 3 or 4 games ago, and he's played really well. He's grabbed 8 and 9 rebounds for us. Guards really well. He's been solid. For Storm to come in as a freshman and it's been really solid. Doesn't turn the ball over much. Knows where you need to be. Makes his open shots. He wasn't scared out there against North Carolina and Chapel Hill. So that's something to be said.
He wasn't. I actually like when I look at those 2 guards. I kind of use it like a 2-headed monster with those 2. So their stats together, they were 13 points, 11 rebounds, shot 5 for 11 from the field, and they made it really hard for Joel Berry. They made it difficult for him. He made some plays, but those guys kept competing and getting after it. And I want to talk to people at home about when you're a top player on a team and how difficult it is to be a scorer and garnish the reputation and have the consistency. What people don't understand at home is when you're a top player like yourself and like I was, that every night that you go out on the court, your name is number 1 on the scouting report. People are trying to keep you from scoring the ball. And I want you to kind of tell us a little bit of your mind frame of staying consistent on every level when teams are trying to stop you.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, first of all, you think about it. I'm going to do what I do every game. Just, do what you do. But sometimes you got to find different ways to score. So, if you're a catch and shoot player, you got to acquire, being able to take it off the bounce some, going back door some. And then just kind of seeing, like, sometimes I'll just see, like, how that team guards, like, other shooters.
Like watching film.
Watching film.
Kind of studying,
and seeing, like, how they can do it. And so I can go into the game with a mindset of, I think this is going to be there. I can kind of think about how I'm going to cut, how I'm going to get open. So just kind of being prepared and just knowing that you're going to get the best shot every night.
And I noticed that the first time when I watched you on film and I watched you guys on film is that you do a great job of moving without the ball. You remind me a lot of JJ Redick. When I watched Redick at Duke, you move well without the ball, and you do a tremendous job of decoying yourself. When you're a great scorer, the first thing I said about you was Fletcher makes everybody around him better. And don't get caught up in the assist, because sometimes great players, their presence and playing decoy makes their teammates better and opening up single coverage formations for your teammates. And you did that really well against North Carolina. They were face guarding you. you continue to take the defense, and when you move that way, all those eyes shift to you, and you open up opportunities for your teammates, and they were able to score with that. But I want to shift over a little bit and talk about your high school and how you were being recruited and what made you choose Wofford College. Give me a little bit of that.
Yeah, when Wofford started recruiting me, they recruited me really hard. When I was in July, when the AAU circuit, how it goes in July, they wrote me handwritten letters every day that I would come back to and see that, and so I could just tell that I was a priority for them. And I went up to visit. I really liked it. Loved the coaches, the campus, and the offense. I saw that they had the SoCon Player of the Year. That was a shooting guard that he was leaving, and so I just thought it was a perfect role for me to come in and be that type of guy. And I just thought it was a great place for me to be.
But obviously, you've made it a great home for you and kids. This is for the kids at home. You have to understand when you're choosing a college, you find the right fit for you. I've seen a lot of kids try to go to the big schools and they end up not even playing. You always go to the fit, and you epitomize that right now by picking the right college, the right coaching staff for you to fit the way that you play, and it's worked for you. So I mean, from mid-major player to another mid-major player, that's very important that we choose our fit. And University of Detroit was a perfect fit for me at the time to do the same thing. But a lot of people need to know what goes on inside the mind of a mid-major player of your caliber. And I want to share a little bit of my story. At the mid-major level, you always have to have a chip on your shoulder.
Definitely.
So the chip on my shoulder going into college was I was too small. They said I was too small. I wouldn't be able to compete at the high level, and I would never be able to score at this level. He's not tall enough. He's not fast enough. That was the chip I had on my shoulder. And after 4 years, I carried that huge chip, and I was able to win the Naismith Award. That's why this award here is so important to me, because that huge chip that I carried got me through, and it won me the Naismith Award as a top collegiate basketball point guard under 6 feet in the country. So I want you to give everybody and let me know what's the chip on your shoulder. What do you carry to get you over the hump?
Yeah, definitely. You definitely have to have a huge chip.
Yeah.
In mid-major. Yeah, for me, I had this similar thing in high school. It's he can score, but I mean, who could he guard? Is he? He's not your typical 6'5", long athletic shooting guard. So he must not be good enough to go to a high major. So yeah, I mean, going against high majors, I always kind of love playing with a chip on my shoulder, because in my head I'm thinking I'm just good, I'm better than these guys. But it's definitely something that a mindset that you always need to go in, and just thinking about how I could be here and I could be doing my thing, but I want to do it at somewhere where I'm really appreciated.
Absolutely.
I want to do it where
Absolutely.
The coaching staff is
They're behind you.
They're behind you. They support you. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you need.
You got to have that, and I've seen that when I watch you play, and I watch other mid-major guys play. You can just kind of see in their eyes that they have this chip on their shoulder. There's a lot of guys that need to understand to get to a certain level at the mid-major level is to have that chip and have that motivation. And just my advice to you, just from one All-American to I think a future All-American, is that continue to hone in on your greatness. A real and a true All-American is not about how many points you score. It's how you carry yourself on the court, off the court, the people that you make better around you. That will create endless opportunities for you, Fletcher, by continuing to do that. And to this point right now, you've done a great job of exemplifying what it means and what it takes to be an All-American at the college level. Not just by the points you score, but the person you are. Just always understand that. And that's just from me to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You absolutely, you're welcome. And I want you guys to know that Fletcher McGee is an outstanding person, an outstanding individual, and he'll continue to have success at the college level. Now, let me tell you guys this before we go. This is the first time I've been behind the camera, and I'm the second best shooter behind the lens. This is the first time. It's probably going to be the last time. So, again, thanks a lot, Fletch, for joining me at Sports Talk 2319. I had a fantastic time today with you guys breaking down my guidelines to being a great jump shooter. On top of that, I had the pleasure of bringing you guys the prime example of a great shooter in Wofford's Fletcher McGee. I hope you guys have a fantastic new year, and this is Sports Talk 2319.
Love my expertise info on college basketball players? Want to perfect your own play? Order my training DVD collection now at www.rpskillsunlimited.com.